we are back in the war room. We've got offensive tackles, offensive line, tight end to wrap up on the offensive side of the ball, and then we will be jumping into the defensive side and trying to wrap up before we got, less than 2 weeks left, a little over 2 weeks left until the NFL draft. So thank you guys for joining us on this journey. Gentlemen, everybody, how you guys all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah,
We're doing good.
Yeah, there's no crazy current events to talk about. There's nothing too wild. We've got
You didn't see Kyler Murray?
I didn't.
Kyler Murray's not going to play if he doesn't
true.
get extension.
What do you guys think is going to happen with that? Do you if that's if the relationship is already that rocky before the rookie contract is even up, before he's not even on his 5th year yet.
I don't think anything comes of it myself. I think that the team holds all the cards and he has no leverage to sit out.
I think he ultimately plays. I think they pay him and he plays, honestly.
Who do you think gets the contract extension first, him or Lamar?
Lamar.
I think they're in a waiting game right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
This may be a dumb question, but is he still eligible to play baseball? This is just a dumb. I'm not 100% sure. Is he still eligible to play baseball?
I don't see why he wouldn't be.
The Oakland A's retain his rights, so I think there's no statute of limitations.
Yeah, if he doesn't go play paperwork. Yeah, if he doesn't play football, he can go play baseball this year if he really wants. They can't stop him, especially on a rookie contract. I don't think that was ever written into the language.
True. But I say that because it's probably not going to happen. They'll probably get this settled, but that could be once like a rarity. That could be a possibility. Maybe does baseball, but I think. Listen, Steve Keim, he'll take care of it. I mean, I trust Steve Keim. I don't trust the relationship between Kyler and Cliff Kingsbury, which I'm shocked they gave that extension to, but I trust Steve Keim's end of the deal to get this all settled.
They better penny up because they're not going to have their little quarterback come this season. It's going to be Colt McCoy, and that means I love me some Colt McCoy. Hook 'em horns, baby. But that means that they're going to be at the bottom of that division for sure. Seattle, I don't know. Seattle's that's a tank fest right there. Let's see, looking like right now, I know we were talking about it just a minute ago as we all hopped into the meeting, but it does look like there's a few teams just that are going to suck it up this year. Falcons, Giants, Seahawks, they are. It looks like before the draft. At least let's see what happens after the draft, post-draft. Maybe they jump up and try to go get quarterbacks this year. But it seems like those are going to be the worst teams. It seems like they're going to be fighting for that number 1 overall pick next year and the opportunity to draft a Bryce Young or, fill in the blank. Any of you guys see any of these teams or any crazy scenarios happening for any of these quarterbacks? I know we talked about quarterbacks already. We already have that. But do you guys see any of these teams making desperate moves to not tank?
Yeah,
what moves are there to make?
Yeah,
that's my thing. It's like I think the fountain is pretty much run dry. Like on these quarterbacks, like it's Baker Mayfield or one of these rookies at this point.
Or if somebody trusts Jimmy, like.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
I was about to say.
I mean, I feel like he's getting kind of slighted. I mean, he did just go out and beat Aaron Rodgers for Christ's sakes. Like, okay, it's a shoulder. Okay, it was his throwing shoulder. Obviously, it was affecting him in the playoffs, and he was still winning games. But nobody wants somebody else's junk as their starting quarterback. That's kind of the truth.
Yeah, could you imagine how disastrous of an offseason it would be for Arizona to lose Kyler Murray and to lose a top 6 paid wide receiver in the NFL? That's just terrible. It's terrible.
Not only that, but add Chandler Jones to that list. He was very big. He's a very underrated loss for Arizona for that defense.
This is true.
The sarcasm.
I got AJ Green back, so
Yeah, there you go.
Is he gonna misrun the last play of the game?
Hey, no AJ Green disrespect.
Man,
That's why I've been.
I love AJ Green, bro. I had him on like every year of my fantasy team.
I mean, which AJ Green are we talking about? Because I mean, I can kind of disrespect AJ Green, like the current one right now. I mean, No, I mean,
no,
he made some good snags. There were some good red zone. He was utilizing the red zone at least. I will give them that. But gentlemen, we got offensive tackles to talk about, and this is my favorite thing. I like me some big uglies. I like watching dudes in the trenches taking their heads off. That's what I like to see, and that's what I'm looking forward to talking about with a couple of these guys, because we do have some mean tackles in this year's draft class. Some mean interior linemen, some maulers, some road graders, some body movers, some power movers. We've got those types in this draft class, and I was so excited and had a ton of fun sitting in the dark last night and watching film, because my power was out, but I had my cell phone at least. So I sat there with my flashlight and took as many notes as I possibly could. Obviously, I did the Evan Neal scouting report, which will be getting posted this week, and then I did the Charles Cross scouting report as well. Like them both. I mean, this top 3 is a legit top 3. It is not the top 4 from a few years back when you had the Tristan Wirfs, and I mean the list, all of those guys that you can name. Jedrick Wills and all of them.
Jedrick Wills, Andrew Thomas.
Yep. Thomas, man, kill me. He was not my number 1, but I felt like coming in. I remember making that statement that he was going to be the best year 1, and it was not that. And I also had Tristan Wirfs as my number 4, but he just couldn't. When he was at Iowa State, that counter move, that inside counter, just ate him alive. He cleaned that up over like 1 season. Like that's all it took. So I'm not complaining now. But y'all ready to jump on into it? Let me pull up the OT rankings right now. All right. So if you guys watched last week, I was trying to do math while on the spot, while everyone's holding their damn cards up, and this week we're a little more organized. I apologize. I think we will pretty much have kind of a consensus top 4, maybe even top 5. We'll see. But without further ado, y'all ready to throw these flashcards up? All right.
Yeah.
Blitzalytics offensive tackle rankings going top down. So number 1, I got Icky. Charles Cross, Neal. Where are you at, Joseph?
OT1 is Neal.
Neal? All right. So it is the consensus. I will pull up and let's see how many, just so I can do the math there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 number 1s across the board. Someone who did his scouting report, I will give my 2 cents in this. One of the most sound offensive tackles. It was so hard to find things that I didn't like. You can find room for improvement, but to actually find flaws were pretty hard. He is a solid tackle, playing in the SEC, playing on the best offensive line. They pump out offensive linemen every year. They pump out quality offensive linemen from rounds 1 to rounds 5, consistently. I was a big fan. He is my number 2, but there's not much to not like. I won't go into the actual scouting report, but just all around solid. Like he's gonna be a 10+. He's gonna be a decade+ starter. Probably have 2 or 3 Pro Bowls, maybe an All-Pro season or 2. And that's like maybe mid-floor. That's like mid-floor. His floor is still like probably a 6-year starter in the NFL minimum. Floor's open, gentlemen. We can go round table, but like I said, give a couple takes. We won't take too long or give out too much information. Just a couple bullets and points on each player.
So for me,
go for it.
Go ahead, Chess.
All right, I'll take it. Like I said, Evan Neal, my favorite thing about him is how he just is technically sound. Also, he has started at many different positions across the line. He started at left tackle, left guard, and right tackle. So he has cross-training there on the offensive line. He's sound technique at all 3 levels, or in pass protection and in running game. He can climb to the 2nd level with quickness. My only downside is that he does his contact balance and play balance is questionable. He does end up on the ground a decent amount, but you fix that up, Evan Neal is going to be a top tackle for years.
Yeah, for me, just kind of Jack and Chaz both touched on it, but he's the most complete tackle to me. I mean, he's been OT1 in this class for the past 2 years. I mean, it's been consensus up until recently. You know, you've had Icky, who we'll get into later, that's kind of creeped up on him, but pass protection, I love his pass sets, his mirror ability to anchor. Like, I love his footwork, especially for someone of his stature. And then in the run game, he has very good hand placement, can maul guys, and just he does everything you want out of offensive tackle. He's a plug-and-play guy. Put him on the left or right side to me. I think he's going to be, day one starter and be one of the top guys in the league for years to come.
All right.
Yeah. Honestly, you guys made the same points, but for me,
you're breaking up a little bit.
Explosive he is right away. I am.
Yeah. Let's let your internet catch up. Nate, you had him at 1-2. What's your take on him?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like what you guys said. I think he's long and strong. He has a real good quick first step on his pass sets. He gets deep, and he's so long that he forces the defensive end to go all the way out around him. He gets his hands out quick and keeps guys off of his chest, which is real good. There are some of those balance concerns, like Chaz said, where he's not as overly super athletic laterally. So he usually takes away the inside moves, but he can get kind of caught off balance if he sets too deep that way. But I mean, ideally, what I'd like to see, I don't think it's going to happen, but I think he should go first overall to the Jags. Start out at right tackle, kind of take that Orlando Brown Jr. route where he starts at right tackle, and then when the franchise tag, when Cam leaves next year, he slides over to left, and that way he's got that year of kind of development there.
Dom, you had him at number 3. Why is he so far down on your list? If you can be one of the few to touch up on his negatives before, I try to do the same.
I mean, y'all touched on a lot of the negatives that I saw, and we can go over the superlatives of him playing at Alabama, and he's going to be a quality starter. For me, it came down to just athleticism, and yeah, he's got it, but I like what I saw out of Cross and my number 2 just a bit more. It's going to come down to flavor that teams like and what they want to look for.
Yeah, where's your franchise at? I think kind of speaks wonders of where you draft in terms of
the differences are, if we're looking at razor thin differences between probably 1 through 3 and even 4 in some cases. And yeah, he's going to be great in the pros, but I like the other guy better. I like the other 2 guys better, actually.
Joe, where did you have him on your rankings? You have him at 1 as well? I had him at
1.
You have anything to add?
Yeah, the one big concern I have of him is that he's only been one year starter at left tackle, so he's relatively new to the position, and going from left to right and right to left is a completely whole different ball game in terms of hands and technique and lateral quickness, and footwork is a whole nother animal.
Yeah, it seemed like the few negatives I had, occasionally lost in traffic, can get overwhelmed, in occasions where he does get caught up in traffic. And usually, though, when he is falling and going to the ground, I didn't write it as a negative because it wasn't him getting beat. He was typically falling with his play, falling with the block, or at least doing enough as he's falling over to stop the block. There was very, very few times where I seen him actually give up a sack or give up a pressure, give up a tackle. Never even seen him give up a sack. I maybe didn't watch enough games, but I did not. Big fan. like I said, technique-wise, when you're that big, that strong, that athletic, you got the length, you have basically all the intangibles, all the boxes checked. It's hard to argue with him not being number one. That being said, let's get to number two, because I want to talk about my guy who I have at number one. So, my number two, let me see if I can.
Can you? I'm sorry, guys. Can you hear me right now? I don't know why.
You're back in.
Yeah, you're back.
Good.
Yeah.
Sorry about that,
All
guys. That's what happens when you pay for terrible internet.
All right, so we got one cross and then Icky across the board is what it looks like at 2. I'm the only one that put him at 1. Didn't do the scouting report, but I did love what I seen because I like people that headhunt. This dude has got a body count. This dude takes people's souls while playing offense. There's nothing that excites me more than when an offensive player is imposing his will on the defense. That excites me. That's why he's my number one, because he makes Charles Cross and Evan Neal look soft. Soft like baby shit. That's how hard he plays. That's how mean he plays. Did he miss a few blocks? Is the hand technique not perfect? You know, does he have room for improvement? Yes. Did he get beat by a few speed rushers in his day? Yes. But he is a monster of a man, and he is so mean and so violent, and that's the kind of offensive line I want to build. Nick, you had him at 4, and you didn't get to give your take on Neal, so I'll let you start. Why is he so low on the list?
Honestly, I mainly viewed him more as a guard than a tackle. He's more of like that Swiss Army knife sort of offensive lineman. Like he's great at tackle. I've seen him, but I just feel like he's more of a fit at guard. He kind of overreaches at times when he's blocking, which is an issue. He doesn't really he's not as explosive as he kind of want him to be. Like he's got decent explosiveness, but he could use a little more consistency there. His hand placement's a little sloppy. He overshoots at times. He sometimes just doesn't. He's too inaccurate with his hand placement. But overall, Ikim's okay. But at tackle, I think he's good. But at guard, he'd be absolutely higher on my power ranking.
Okay. Fearless Leader, what is your take on Ikeme Bonu?
I mean, like you said, he's not my top offensive tackle, but he's my favorite to watch just because of how nasty he is. I mean, he was pulling from left tackle and just basically being a lead blocker on the opposite side and just taking care of everything in his path. You love watching that. I mean, me and Joseph, I feel like we talked about him on a regular basis on every week on the Prospect Power Hour, just because it's like, wow, did you see what he did to this guy? It was impressive. And I mean, honestly, he has some good pass sets to him. He's not as technically sound as Neal is. That's why I like Neal a little better. But I think Ekwonu is going to be another type of offensive line changing player, offensive tackle.
Floor is open, gentlemen. You guys got anything to add?
Yeah, I have him as my 2. I think he's got better balance and lateral movement than Neal for sure. I think Neal overall, with his power and his run game and just his frame in general, be able to utilize it is the better tackle prospect. But I do like Icky a lot. I have here great hands. He's got a real strong, violent punch. He gets his hands on you, and his grip is real good too. I think hand placement wise, I don't think he's got that much to go, like you said before. But yeah, put him in a good zone scheme where you can get out and move and reach and run and everything, and yeah, dominant.
Yeah, I think you take Icky and throw him in a wide zone scheme. He can impact an offensive line the same manner that Jason Kelsey impacted the Eagles, as in you can run concepts that you normally couldn't run with other offensive linemen at the same position. So, like you said, Icky can pull across the center and be a lead blocker from the left tackle position. And my big thing with Icky, like Dominic said earlier, these are splitting hairs with these guys. But just Evan Neal is more sound. But like you said, you can't teach attitude. And he got attitude in spades. That man got a mean streak. I love to watch it. And he's gonna drop some pancakes. And he's gonna have some jaw-dropping plays in the next level. And those highlight reel can get you those accolades. He might be the star of this draft just because he's gonna get those highlight splash pull plays like Quentin Nelson did, and that's gonna get his name more known and hit those Pro Bowls and those accolades and everything.
Yeah, he may have more sacks given up, but he will definitely have a bigger highlight reel than Neal. Man, I get juiced talking about this guy. I think we all do, and rightfully so. But yeah, inconsistency. I think, just him being able to learn the position and perfect the craft. But man, this is a linebacker's nightmare. That's what he is. You do not want to be playing middle linebacker when he's playing on the field. You're gonna get hurt. It's gonna be that Trent Williams highlight we just seen 2 years ago. Let's keep it rolling. We're doing good on timing, guys. Number 3.
This is the one player, by the way, that will shock you guys on my number. I don't know if you can see it, but
yeah, I see it.
I just saw it, and I am upset. Nick,
I love Daniel Falele. Ryan.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in our
later.
superlatives because he is unranked. I think you're the only one that has him ranked.
I got him at spoiler. I got him at 5.
You got him at 5. Hey,
you guys are nuts if you don't have him in the top 5.
Size is you know what it pays the bills. But Charles Cross, Mississippi State, somebody I have to watch quite a bit here. We're having a little bit of lag issue. All right, we're good. Let me see. All right. Anyways, somebody I got to watch quite a bit here, being in Mississippi, hearing a lot about everything that he's been able to do. One of the first takeaways is he's shifty. For a left tackle, his ability to change direction, his mirror ability is outstanding. I love it. I watched somebody do an inside move or a spin move and then counter out, and like he didn't miss a step. He was in their face like right here the entire time. And it's funny like how good he is at staying with his guy. Athleticism is outstanding. I think all of these guys are pretty good in space. I really like Charles Cross' ability to get into the second level. He has a willingness to block downfield. But like I said, I'll try to leave some meat on the bone because this is one of the guys that I did for one of my scouting reports for Blitzalytics. What do you guys take? Anybody?
Yeah, what I gotta say is this Charles Cross is who I have ranked number 2. He is the definition of nasty, and I love how he he does have a little issue with the footwork, and he needs a little more time to make sure he's the guy at left tackle. But I love how quick he is to adapt to with his awareness. He can track things quickly. He can make moves. He could move around. He is a little shaky, like you said earlier, but once that gets cleared out, I think he could be a stellar offensive tackle on this team.
Shifty.
I'm sorry.
So he's got quick feet. Like his footwork is shit. He's shifty like a running back in terms of he can change directions on a fly. His ability to shift his weight, shift his balance is I literally wrote it's one of the best I've actually ever seen grading tackles for blitz.
Yeah, I love that about him.
Fearless leader.
Dom, you got anything?
Yeah, Dom. Anybody?
So with Cross, I love him as a true left tackle, just because I think you can make the argument that he could be the best pass blocker in this group because his mirror ability, pass sets, like he doesn't lose very often as a pass protector. He resets his hands. does all that great stuff. But with his athleticism, which is great, he is a little leaner than these other two guys, which makes him a little less impactful as a run blocker. Like, he doesn't really have that explosiveness or like mauling ability to me that these other two have. Isn't going to create that like elite movement off the line of scrimmage. Not saying that he can't be effective there, but those other two definitely have more upside there than he does. Like I say, if you need a left tackle, he's your guy just because he's protecting that blind side.
Don, what's your take?
I agree with.
I mean, I like Cross, and what stood out with me, kind of to piggyback off of what Ryan was saying. I mean, the pressures that he allowed from 2022 to 2021 just dropped dramatically. They went from like 44 pressures allowed to 16. So, I mean, if you're looking for a pass blocker, that's his bread and butter.
Yeah, that's what I have. I mean, I pretty much the same thing Ryan was saying. He lacks some power in the run game as a run blocker, but his first step in pass pro, and like you guys are saying with his mirror ability, he can mirror the guys, but at the same time while he does it, he does so in a way where he maintains leverage, and that's where he can control his, whichever way the guys go, he's got him locked up.
Only thing I got to like pile on to his constant praise of being one of the best pass blockers here that we've seen is his feet and athleticism. Mirror ability is definitely the best I've seen in a few years, for sure.
It looked like a guard playing defense in basketball. I mean, he's just that quick. It was kind of blew me away. Like, I watched, I just shut up and sat back and watched the whole game. Like, am I overreacting to a few plays? It was like that almost every time. Like, he is so consistent against the counter move. Outside in, inside out. It's just not even funny.
I remember his recruitment vaguely.
Yeah, and then if you guys, his highlight against, I haven't literally wrote it down, the highlight, but I think it's a screenplay where he gets out in space on the left side versus Alabama and just takes that dude's head off, that corner's head off. Like, oh my God, he felt so bad for that kid and his family. Like, he literally took his soul. I love it. He is ultra aggressive. I mean, not to he doesn't have the same body count as Icky, but he's very aggressive. So it was hard. I was close to almost flipping it. Like, I almost wanted to add some controversy to the show and flip it and have Cross 1 or Icky 1, Cross 2, Neal 3. But at the end of the day, when sound technique is what pays the bills. I mean, let's be true. We almost had this consensus. At least, let's say for the senior scouts, I'll have this consensus right now.
Oh God, are you guys going to be bullying me when I talk about King Falele?
No.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Well, Chaz will.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the superlatives. I'm not bullying anybody in the rankings right now. But let's throw up those number
This is
fours.
the war room, man. You gotta take the smoke.
Of course, I did take the smoke. That's why I decided to rank Falele over this guy right here.
Trevor Penning, basically across the board, 4 on everybody but Nicholas. It's not like he's disrespecting him. He's got him in that rankings. I'll just say that.
No.
I'll save a little bit obsessed for number 5, but. I mean, what's not to like? And I didn't do the scouting report, so I'll just shut up. Who wants to go first? Who wants to talk about Trevor Penning, because he's solid. I mean, I think he goes in I think all 4 of these guys go in the first round. Everybody needs offensive tackles, and Trevor Penning is another one of those long-time starter caliber tackles. Left, right. He may do better on the right side. Maybe. But I think he's a solid first-round pick. Let's go. We'll go down and around. So Joe, started off.
Yeah, I think Penning I have him in my big board article as a OT3, but I think he's slightly downgraded due to the competition level he played. But, so does Spencer Brown, and Brown's pretty reliable depth piece, I think. I think Penning goes in the first round, like you mentioned. I compared his athletic profile to Tennessee Titans left tackle Taylor Lewan. They're both laterally athletic. They can move very well. It's underrated, in fact. But I think the small school stigma is still there, but I don't think it's much of an issue. But I think he's more of a straight line athlete, more so than a lateral athlete at this point in his development process.
Nick, why is he down on your list?
Mainly because I feel like he's more of a, like you said earlier, he's more of a fit as a right tackle than at left tackle. I think Valele would be a great left tackle as well in football, for the NFL. I do love how I gotta say I'm looking at Penning measure wise in my notes. He's got great measurements for a guy that plays his position, which I like. He moves well in pass protection and run protection, but like I said, he doesn't have the base you would like to see. Like his posture is kind of not the way you want to see an offensive lineman's posture being. And his hips aren't as fluid for when he play starts and he's getting himself into position. But overall, Penning's a really, really solid prospect. Absolutely will go in the first round. I think all my top 5 players are going in the first round. And I just think Penning will be in the later first rounds. Would I be surprised if he drops in the second round? Absolutely. But I just think you can't pass on Penning in the first round.
Too many teams need tackles. Fearless leader,
yes.
Mr. Ryan Lippert. What's your take on Penning?
So,
do you think he sneaks in the first round in the back end?
With me, I feel like Penning. I think he could have a chance to move into like top 12 territory, just with the way some things are going to play out, especially with teams like Seattle looking like they're going to be maybe out on a quarterback. I mean, that could be a place to look at him because the top 3 guys are going to be gone top 10, I think, without a doubt. But I mean, Penning, for me, he caught some eyes and made some enemies at the Senior Bowl. We were watching him. He's super aggressive, slamming guys at the end of plays. You like that kind of nastiness, He's going to have to be able to control that after the whistle a little bit when he gets to the NFL. But you like to see that. I think he's better suited for the right side. That he can play left, but one of his weaknesses I saw, he just needs more refinement in his pass pro. Like he struggled to deal with some counter moves off the edge. Some speed guys got him a little bit. Like his hip fluidity wasn't necessarily there, and he just wasn't. I guess just has to clean it up, so to say. I mean, he wasn't horrible by any means, but you could definitely see when he got to get some of those more athletic guys that he struggled a little bit.
Yeah, he's a little heavy-footed at times. I think he doesn't. He's kind of big and I don't know if the term lurky. He kind of not sluggish. He's not slow, but sometimes he just does. It seems like he kind of carries his weight. He doesn't carry his weight as well. What it seems like.
Plotting is the word.
There you go. Thank you.
I think his floor is 26th for Tennessee. They have a glaring need at right tackle, considering their past history in recent years at the position.
If Austin Jackson can go in the first round, I'm sorry. I'm never gonna let this horse die. I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna keep kicking it.
Yeah.
If Austin Jackson go in the first round, Trevor Penning should go top 15 for sure. Sorry. I won't.
I love Shaq's hatred for Austin Jackson. It's awesome.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, where is he now? Right guard? Is that where he's playing?
He's, I think, left guard right now.
Left guard, and they moved him in.
I don't know. The guy's a Swiss Army knife on the terrible offensive line.
Like a rusty, dull,
Better knife.
missing the toothpick, freaking Swiss Army knife. Like it's a weak one. No. All right. Anyways,
Ryan, by the way,
Nate, what's your take? What is your take on on Trevor Penning?
And I think I think Ryan and I have the same notes here. He's been saying the exact same things almost. I got mean, and if you like a tackle that's mean, that's got attitude, he's got it up there as well. I think he's got good hands. He's another guy. He's got good hand placement, good hand technique. He is, like you said, he gets off balance and gets beat by counter moves. And when he gets beat by counter moves, a lot of times he can probably get called holding. I think there's those types of things that he can definitely work on and get cleaned up. But yeah, the mirroring and getting off balance is the biggest thing that knocks him down for me. But everything else, the super long frame, his attitude, his aggressiveness, I love all that.
Dom, you see him at Senior Bowl too, right? What was your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, that aggressive, nasty streak that he played with just really stood out to me. I mean, pretty much echoing what Ryan had mentioned before about what I liked about him. His weaknesses and what he can get coached up with as far as his technique, you can work around that, but he's going to be a solid addition for any offensive line, and especially at tackle. You need someone that plays nasty in there to go after that D.
All right.
Say it like that.
So yeah, say it. Yeah, right. I was like, you got me looking immature. Right here.
I can't help it.
To take something.
I can't help
But
it.
yeah, you could tell which four of us went to the Senior Bowl because the first word that all four of us said was nasty. That again, same deal with Icky. We got attitude, man. I love watching him start fights at the Senior Bowl. But my main thing why he doesn't crack that top tier of the three, like with Cross, Neal, and Iquanu, is just inconsistency in his pass sets. It's my only thing. Like they other touched on already, his struggling with counter moves and speed. He'll overset to the outside and get beat inside very often. Well, not very often, but that's how he loses most often. So discipline at the next level and being able to process and combat pass rush plans. That's the word I was looking for. Combat pass rush plans of speed rushers is gonna be what takes him to the next level.
Yeah, just consistency, and I think he's a tier or two below when it comes to athleticism compared to the top three. Anything else you guys got?
No, you guys really said it all.
Another top 20 offensive tackle for sure. I do not see him slipping out of the first round by any means. But let's do it, gentlemen. Let's get through this podcast and give out our number fives.
You just talked about him, so I'll reveal him.
I got
man.
Come on. You
I
gotta
got
love the
Abraham
story.
Lucas.
I think half of us OT5 Max Mitchell, maybe. All right. You know what? Just let's hear it now on why this is, because that's not we all have basically. I think is it right? No, Falele is our number 5 guy. No, it is Bernard or Bernhard. Yeah,
It's Bernard.
yeah.
it's Bernard.
No, I know Bernhard. I've been watching that show Vikings. I keep talking with a fucking Nordic accent. But yeah, so what is he? Austrian. Played tight end, moved to tackle. Gotta love the athleticism. Super raw. But yeah, we'll go the other way with this. We'll go counterclockwise this turnaround or however it is. So Chaz, and then we'll go over to Dominic and then down.
All right, my thing with Raymond, I didn't put him in the top 5, but as you saw how I had the question mark there, I really just wanted to spotlight Max Mitchell, and we'll get to him in the superlatives. I'm not going to waste much time on him. But functional athleticism is really high on my notes for Bernard Raymond. My downside to him is just experience at the position, really. He's as good as anybody to be the first person out of this tier. Like I said earlier, I think it's a clear top 3, and then it's a clear 4. And then at 5, you can argue anybody, and he's right up there with the best of them. It's just experience at the position will be something to monitor.
Don, what was your takeaway from this beast of a being?
I mean, pretty similar to what Chaz just said. I mean, he's just raw, but he's coachable. He's shown that. He didn't really stand out, good or bad, at the Senior Bowl when we were there too. So didn't make too many mistakes, but he's just going to be raw. I think he is in that next tier down after that the top 4 tackles in this draft too.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at somebody like that, you're drafting for upside at that point.
Absolutely.
He's definitely second, third round, day 2 guy for sure. So I look forward to seeing like the progress. But Nate, do you have anything that you could talk about, negatively on the man and kind of point out some of the flaws outside of just being raw?
Man, I just have him down here as the guy can move. He's got really good feet. He's got good footwork. Works well out in space. But yeah, I mean, it's just that he is kind of a project. He needs to develop. I think there's a lot of different things that he can work on as far as technique, hand placement, where he sets, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just kind of a project developmental. There was probably 2 or 3 guys that I was going to put here to switch out to talk about, but I think he's got the most upside out of them, so that's where I kind of put him here.
Yeah, so for me, I really don't have anything new to add that hasn't already been said. I guess functional athleticism, you're going to get that. I mean, he came from playing tight end, just kept putting on the weight and became a tackle, which is impressive in itself. He was able to add on that weight needed and gain that strength to be able to switch to tackle, because that is a big move. But like it's been said, it's going to be a project. It's going to be, he's still kind of learning the position. He's got to clean up his hand placement, his footwork, all that good stuff. And if he can get on the second round, get with a good O-line coach and, not have to be the guy right away, then I think he could be a solid offensive tackle, but that remains to be seen still.
Joe?
Yeah, I like to add on to the other guys. Like they said, he's a bit of a project guy. He probably won't start day 1 unless he goes higher than expected. I have a 3rd round grade on him so far, but he really needs a development time. But I've compared him to another Central Michigan product, Eric Fisher. Although he won't go that high as Fisher did, but I think he's I think he's going to be a really good swing tackle type. Year 1, maybe year 2, he gets a starting job after a year of seasoning.
Do you guys remember? I'm trying to think of, and I'm supposed to be the tackle expert, but there was a offensive. What was the last tight end turn tackle to be drafted? You guys remember? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's a good question.
Eric Fisher?
No, it's somebody in the last.
Did Colton Miller play tackle or tight end?
I think it might have been Colton Miller.
Might have been. I'm trying to remember.
Maybe.
Damn it.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. This is going to kill me. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like it's in the last. It's not Colton Miller. It's in the last couple drafts.
It's like last couple years.
Yeah.
Senior Bowl. He like a top? Was he like a first round?
Senior Bowl. Yeah.
Was he a small school?
Me and Nate are gonna message Slack at like 3 a.m. Boom, got it.
Do you know the year? Do you know the year he was drafted?
Nah, I can't think of it off the top of my head. It was just something that kind of popped in my head, and I was trying to think of. But
I don't think. I don't think
that is our top 5. We can definitely jump into superlatives. I think somebody's been itching to talk about the true behemoth
Please.
out of all of these behemoths, Daniel Falele. So go for it. Be my guest, Nicholas. Tell me why he is your number 3? Number 3
3.
offensive tackle.
Yeah.
And don't tell me just because he's 6'8" and 386 pounds or whatever it is.
No. I'm not. No.
We all
I'm
know
not
this.
saying that is the reason.
All right.
I'm not saying that's the reason. But I normally don't start with pro comparisons. I would save him in the end. But he reminds me a lot of Mekhi Becton. Like he really, even though the size, the weight, and everything is great, but the way he moves, this guy's agile in the offensive line. Like this guy. Every time I see him play, it's just fantastic how well he shoots his hands, how well he pulls, how awesome he is. It's impressive for a guy that size to move the way he does. Just astounds me. I was astounded by Mekhi Becton, and I was astounded by Daniel Falele. He does have a few issues. I think he's gonna go in the late first round. I won't be shocked if he goes in the mid first round or in the second round, but I see him more as a tackle, and like I said with Ikem, he can be at guard, he could be at tackle or guard. I think Falele is the more solidified tackle than Ikem is. I mean, it's just for a guy like that to move the way he does, I just don't see how you not see him as a first round pick. I just don't. I'm sorry,
Jack, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Nah. You know what? You made the first facial expression, so you get it. You get the floor.
Oh, here we go.
And then
Okay,
we'll let Ryan rebuttal because he's the only other one that had him sitting there in the top 5. So he's gonna have to defend his boy Nicholas over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. Please don't destroy.
Oh, I'm not gonna bully you. No.
It's the war room.
Listen,
We gotta be.
I may be crazy with some of my takes, but I love Daniel Falele.
It's okay to love Daniel Falele. That's fine. They're my 3 things. Number 1, don't ever mention him as the same sentence as Mekhi Becton again. No. Movement skills.
I am going to do that. I am a Jets fan. I'm allowed to do that.
No, you're not. And you as a Jets fan should be offended at that. So
No,
that's,
I'm not.
that's number 1. That's number 1.
I'm not.
Number 2, to have him above Ike Ekwonu, that speaks for itself. That speaks for itself. Number 3,
Just got burst a blood vessel right now.
I would be shocked if he goes first round. I'll take it a step further. I don't think he's going top 50. I don't think he's going top 50.
Oh my God, you're crazy, Chaz.
I agree.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I do again. I'm responsible for the report on Falele.
I so badly wanted that report, bro.
So I will say, his anchor and his grit are the 2 best features on Falele. Obviously, besides his length, but his anchor, you can't rush him with power. He dominates against that. You're not gonna win. When it comes to the run game, he is lateral agility on the right side. That's fine. I'm not gonna. It's adequate for a 400-pound man. It's not elite for a 400-pound man like it is for Becton. But his football IQ needs a lot of work. He struggles with stunts games, and speed rushes. His main thing is you got to get around me. They're going to get around him. They're gonna get around him every time, but it just takes a little longer because he's 8'6".
Yeah. The pocket is so much bigger because of how big his reach and his length and everything is. It's the Trent Brown effect.
Yes.
I would equate his athleticism more so to Orlando Brown there, bud, than I would Mekhi Becton. I'm sorry.
This is coming from a Jets fan who's seen plenty of film of him, okay? Let me have this.
All right, we'll go back to my Mekhi Becton freaking report. I didn't. No, that might have been. Is that you, Chaz? Becton?
I did not do Becton last year.
You didn't do Becton? I don't know who did Becton
But
last year.
I will say he's probably around the same athleticism as Becton, a couple months after that injury. But before that, his prospects, no. Not even close.
No. Ryan, you got him in the top 5, man. Where do you think he's gonna land? Do you think it's what's the over under on the
Finally
50?
we agree on something.
So I like Falele. Don't get me wrong. He is my 5, but I am nowhere near as high as Nick is. Like we kind of said, there's a lot of guys that could be in a 5. I like Falele slightly more than a couple of the guys you mentioned. I mean, obviously his size and reach is obvious. I mean, it's gonna take a while to get around him. I liked he could create movement off the line of scrimmage as a run blocker, but I can't agree with the movement and athleticism thing to Becton at all, because that was my big knock on him. Like Chaz just kind of went over, like he struggled against the speed rush. Like I think like Mafe and Sanders at the Senior Bowl got him a couple times, like embarrassed him. So he's definitely going to have to work on that aspect. But I think he, as far as top 50 goes, I wouldn't be shocked if somebody took a chance on him like late first round or like early second. But I don't think he's a lock by any means in top 50. I think he would be more likely to go outside than inside the top 50. But I mean, he's a big body. If he can work on some of his pass sets and foot speed, he could be a solid guy. But that's going to take some coaching.
I got maybe a spicier take here. I said there was 3 or 4 guys maybe that I could have switched around in there at 5 instead of Raymond. Falele wasn't one of them.
You're insane. You are insane.
I don't think he goes in the second, to be honest. I think he falls into the third. I don't remember. You said it right. I think it was either Mafe or Sanders. We watched him put him on his back.
Yeah,
he got
Sanders
put
with the
on
spin
his
move.
Sanders.
Put him on his back. He does not do well with the speed rushers, and there's a lot of speed rushers in the NFL. I think teams are gonna, and the other thing is, I don't think he's got the for as big as he is to not be as much of a mauler in the run game and not have that attitude that some of these other guys have. I don't see it, at least. I don't know. That's my take on him.
In like down blocking situations, I mean, he creates an entire pile. Like you got to give him credit for that. Like he takes out all 3, maybe 4 of the other defensive linemen that were on that side. If he's down blocking. But if you ask him to get out in space, if you ask him to block out on the edge, the footwork's sloppy. He doesn't sit low in his pass set. He's too high. The hands are inconsistent. That said, like there's a ton of upside. If you can teach it and you can work it into him, then hell yeah, I want a 6'8", damn near 400-pounder at left tackle who can move. I'm not saying he can't, but you're giving him way too much credit saying that he is a Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton at his size is Tyreek Hill. Like that's how athletic Mekhi Becton is. He is the elite of elite when you are that big. He moves better than Orlando Brown. He moves better than Trent Brown. Like those guys don't even hold a candle to, and that's why we were so high on him 2 years ago. You can't, I struggle with the comparison. I see it because of the size. I love size. It's hard to beat. He doesn't get moved backwards, but all you got to do is get him a little off balance with, the shoulder shake or a spin move, and he's going to be put on his ass. So he's got so much room to grow. I say that, but you know what? I was like looking at him at 5, like, maybe like I could possibly see it, but yeah, I got the under on. I see him round 3, 100% before I see him in round 1.
I doubt it.
Yeah. The thing I will say about
chip challenge
Falele is goal line, short yard situation. He's in the game.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine Jordan Davis and Falele in the same backfield and goal line?
Just put them side by side.
Yeah.
Dream matchup of the century.
It would be. That would have been a good one to see.
Jordan Davis would smoke Falele. and that's just because
so quick. Oh man,
Then
that
that's-
first
and that's
step,
just
it'd be over.
because-
It'd be over on the first step.
And that's just because with me being super, super high on Jordan Davis too, though. That's another pod.
That it is. That's
is.
next week, or whenever we decide to do IDL. Gentlemen, anybody else you guys want to talk about? I see a few of you guys got a little crazy and went all the way to rank 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. Superlatives.
I just want to throw out Max Mitchell just because I was a big fan of him. He's probably not my 5. That's why I wrote the question mark and the maybe and everything. But I want to spotlight him because I figured that a lot of people were just going to throw in Bernard Raymond at 5, and I wanted to get some dissension. I feel like he projects really well as a right tackle for a zone scheme. He can come in and honestly be a day one starter in the right spot. Joseph said, with the Titans needing a right tackle, they run a little bit more power than you would want Max Mitchell for. But there's a team that everybody needs offensive line play. If a team needs a right tackle can step in and play day one in a zone rushing attack, he can do that for you. He's not a perfect prospect, inconsistent, and he struggles against power a lot in both the run game and the pass game. His anchor isn't great, and against powerful, like a Trayvon Walker would dominate him just because he wouldn't be able to. He would set the edge on him every time. But he has the upside there to be a spot starter at right tackle and somebody that you don't have to worry about. And honestly, that's players you need in the depth at the offensive line position is players you don't have to worry about.
Nate, I noticed that he made your extended rankings.
Yeah, I like Max Mitchell, just like Chaz was saying, as one of the better right tackle prospects that you can come in and just plug in right away. Kind of like him towards the end of the 3rd and the 4th round ish area. You didn't really talk too much about his pass protection, but I liked what I saw him in his pass pro. With the power struggles, I get that, but I think he did a good job setting that and handling there. I think he could definitely hold it down on the right side. Like you said, be a starter as a right tackle there.
All right. Shea Walker, Dan Kennard. Anybody else got anything on any of these guys? We all good? We wrapping this show up? Moving on to the next. Let's do it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to Blitzalytics War Room. Offensive tackle, arguably the most important position on the entire field. Second most, I would say. It's my favorite, man. This is definitely my favorite. I cannot wait to see where these 4 go. Sucks the Bucks. Well, the Bucks definitely need a left tackle. Let's be real. Let's be real. Donovan Smith has never been what they want him to be. I don't know
a guard
why.
too.
Don't know why. Easy, Jets fan. Let's be real here. Donovan Smith should have been kicked inside a long time ago. He'd be an all-pro guard. He is a sham of a left tackle. But we won a Super Bowl with him, so what are you gonna do? Thank you guys for tuning in.
Make fair points.
Also like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Key City Brewing. Let's see right there. Drink Rebel Repeat. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next episode, which will be our IOL. Gentlemen, if you guys want to get out any shout outs, share where they can follow you, feel free.
Nick, you can go. We'll go.
Yeah. All right. Like I said last time, I don't really have social media. You can find me on LinkedIn, Nicholas Mullick, Mullick. If you want to check me out, and shout out to David Falele.
Joe,
I'm gonna fight you by the time.
Okay, y'all can find me on Twitter at 2 into 0 Blitz. And on Blitzalytics as well, I do big boards and the like. Right now, I'm doing that series. So find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff, all the socials.
You can follow me any social media at Lippert42 and check out all our stuff at Blitz. We got those scouting reports pumping out on Twitter and on the site. Looking really good right now, and get more in before the draft.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm at Nate Kansas on Twitter and on Blitzalytics as well.
Dom.
Y'all can find me at Dom Ambrose 10 on Twitter. Shoot me a message, questions, and I'll give answers. So.
You can find me on Twitter at CCNFL Draft. I'm currently sending out a tweet slandering Daniel Falele right now. So if you want to search that up, you can find it. So
I'm powerless to do anything, Chaz.
Go check out
I'm not on
Blitzalytics.com. Hit that scouting button, and you can check out all of the scouting reports that are currently being thrown in and uploaded as we speak by our amazing interns that have been helping us out throughout the last few years in terms of our draft content and all of the data that goes into it, guys. We are one of the only websites that actually grades positional traits. So go check that out at blitzalytics.com /NFL Draft 2022. Sorry, I don't know why. The pandemic, I've always just like from that point on, just like time and everything is just NFL Draft 2022. Thank you for tuning in. Blitz out.